IVM.
This is Storytellers and Storysellers live on tape. You're listening to Vineet Kanabar on the IVM Podcast Network. It is Pride Month, and when Vishal, my producer, and I were discussing how to program the Storytellers episode for Pride Month, we realized that we had to talk to someone who was an up-and-coming star in the entertainment industry from the spectrum, representing hope and positivity and change for the future, as well as having a very interesting story from what we've read about her. Please welcome to the show, give a Storytellers welcome to Alizeh Khan. Alizeh, welcome to Storytellers and Storysellers. So glad you've joined us on the show today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
Alizeh, before we started recording, I asked you how you'd like me to introduce you, and you said while you're a trans person, you want to be identified as a performing artist from the Hijra community. I mean, right at the outset, I want to ask you why that was. You explained to me about representation, but I'd love to know a little bit better from you and understand this a little bit better from you about why you've chosen to take this name up and put it up there as part of your identity. Just get us started with that.
So first of all, I'm glad that you invited me on this podcast so that I can share my experiences. Regarding me keeping or maybe introducing myself as a transgender person from the Hijra community, one of the biggest reasons is because I have seen many trans people who are from the Hijra community, but they would not use the term Hijra anywhere. So I feel very sad about it. And it's very awful that you belong to a community which supports you and which kind of take cares of you. So what's wrong in taking, when you are from that community, what's wrong in saying that you are a trans person from the Hijra community? And I think because the term Hijra itself is considered to be a slang, whereas it is not a slang, it is considered to be a slang. And most of these elite classes people, they think it's a very cheap word, So maybe they don't want to use it, but I don't mind using it. If I'm cheap or if I'm not classy as they think, then it's okay. I would rather be a Hijra and be happy.
Comfortable in your own skin and comfortable with the names that we have for ourselves.
Yeah.
Alizeh, let me ask you about your journey. I think that's where I'd love to get started. And wonderful that you set context for us with that little nugget right at the beginning. Alizeh, a few years ago, you were known by another name. You had a different identity. And now you have charted a completely different path for yourself of your own accord. To me, it's a sign of hope. And to me, it's also a sign of how far we've come. It's also a sign of how much work there needs to be done, right? But I want you to give it to us in your own words, how your journey has been for the past 3 or 4 years. And then I want to talk about what then pride actually means to you. But let's get started with your journey. I think the first time that I heard of you was with I Am Crushed by Patriarchy, but I'm sure the real story goes back much longer. Over to you to tell us where your journey started to becoming Alizeh.
First of all, thank you that you read that. You at least know about that blog, I Am Crushed by Patriarchy. So I'll just. It's a very long story. बहुत सारे किस्से, बहुत सारे पन्ने हैं. But I'll say it in short. When I was a child, I knew that I was different because of behavior, etc., etc. I was into arts. I loved to dance. But my parents, especially my father, he never allowed me to pursue dance because I was obviously interested into classical. And I wanted to pursue it because I used to watch a lot of devotional movies, where the goddess she performs stand-up or whatever, etc. But they never allowed me to pursue dance. So my journey started from there. Initially, I thought when I was growing up, I thought maybe this is the way I am. I was, in fact, when I was 6 years old, I actually thought that I don't know why, but I actually thought that my life would have no value in future because and I was scared of the Hijra community because हमारे घर के सामने there was this person जिसको I think उनका कुछ personal issue हो गया था, तो lot of Hijras came and then they took him over. उनका कुछ आपस का कुछ होगा, तो they took
Sure.
him over. And that वो इतना डरावना था बचपन में, because as a feminine kid, I'm not talking about my sexuality because I didn't know my sexuality at that time. As a feminine kid, I was scared enough to even see a hijra. Even if that person, is in corner B or maybe corner Z, I was scared to see that person if I'm at corner A. That was the amount of, that was the amount of the fear which I had from that community. And so I grew up as feminine kid, and then around 6th or 7th standard, a very a disastrous miracle happened. That was Dostana released, and then I got to know the term gay for the first time. And then I thought maybe this is, no, I actually thought maybe this is not who I am, because it actually said a man who likes a man. I had this dictionary and I searched for the term gay, and I found it really funny, and I couldn't accept myself at that time. And till that time, I was actually used as a toy. I would not say that I was molested, because even I was part when I was, it was quite consensual, and I was quite comfortable with doing what the other men were doing to me. The straight men were doing to me. I was comfortable with that. And so I would not say I was molested, but I was used because they couldn't fulfill their sexual fantasies anywhere else. And around till the age of 14, I said no. And the moment when I started saying no, my things changed in my life. I went to high school, I fell in love, and then after, I think during 2015, I met a friend, Anjali Siroya. We started our journey together. She made me go, she made me meet so many people who were like me, who were feminine, who were proud. And that was the first time when I accepted myself as a feminine gay person. Because identities के बारे में कुछ पता ही नहीं था. As a society, if you see, even now, people are so misaware about the whole LGBTQI plus community.
Right.
So मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था. So I was like, okay, maybe even because I like men and because I am a man, because I was a man, maybe I am this person, feminine gay man. And being feminine in the gay community, even like कहते हैं ना कि I'm going थोड़ा away from the topic, but कहते हैं ना कि discrimination बाहर के लोग करते हैं. बाहर के लोग discrimination करते हैं, I agree, but discrimination बाहर के लोग इसके लिए करते हैं कि उनको पता नहीं है.
Right.
और जब तुम्हें और मुझे अपने बारे में पता है, तो तुम अपने में ही डिस्क्रिमिनेशन करोगे, तो फिर मतलब ही क्या है इसका.
Right.
बेसिकली जब घर के अंदर ही कूड़ा भरा है, तो बाहर के आंगन को साफ करके कुछ मिलेगा नहीं. So we have to start with our people first.
Sure.
And so my journey from feminine gay kid turned into a non-binary person. And that was the first time I was offered to walk in a fashion show by Hamsafar Trust, where I work right now. And I didn't get selected because I had a condition. I would not shave my beard, and I can't walk like a man.
Right.
So they, being this prestigious organization, they only had two categories. It was man and woman.
Wow.
They never had a category for, people who don't identify otherwise.
Right.
So I clearly said no. And then luckily I was in college where I faced a lot of issues, all this. I don't know how people find, why do people find if someone knows English songs and if someone smokes up or do all sort of crazy things, which I don't do, so I'm not a cool person. उनके नजर से I'm like, okay, fine, bad for you. So मेरे college का experience अच्छा नहीं था. मेरे college के project के through I started writing the blog, which is I'm Crushed by Patriarchy, where I have posted my journey since the time I was born and till now. So it's a complete journey of my life. And so my journey started as a non-binary person. I was offered a show called Bezuban, which was started by non-binary people. And that's how I got my break within the community. And I did ramp walks. Then I was offered a play. I did a play. I was again took participation. I participated in a fashion show, which was one of its kind. It was the first fashion show, I believe, in India, which had this category called MX category for non-binary people. And I ran the show, and things changed in my life. A lot of things changed in.
How did that make you feel though? When you walked the ramp there, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel amazing because you see, since childhood, I always had to kind of, छुपा के रखना पड़ता था मुझे अपने आप
Mhm,
को.
mhm.
My parents were ashamed of me because they didn't even take me to my relatives' house. वो लोग मुझे नीचे खड़ा करते थे because of my feminine behavior. And I thought no one can appreciate my talent. And when I got the platform to showcase my talent, and उस दिन मैंने अपने आप को कहा कि I'm here to conquer this world, and I'll do it in my own way, but I'll do it. And as far as I know, I have achieved जो मेरे तरफ से है कि इवन मेरी फैमिली में किसी ने इतना अचीव नहीं किया होगा. So I have achieved, and I'm very happy with my achievements. But with that achievements, बहुत सारे कॉस्ट भी चुकाने पड़े. I lost many of my friends because suddenly when you get that थोड़ा सा success, your heads go crazy. थोड़ा सा craziness आ जाता है. But now I mean I feel कि thank God वो चले ही गए दोस्त, क्योंकि वो कुछ काम के थे भी नहीं वैसे. Later on I realized when I
Right.
started कि थोड़ा हम लोग बात कर लेते हैं जैसे पहले थे वैसे. Then I realized it's not gonna work. So it's okay. So उसका कोई गम नहीं है मुझे. But my life changed. Then I was asked to go bald. I had अभी तो ये बाल कम है. I had very long hair and
Right.
one side straight hair, and I had my director had asked me to go bald for the show, and I wanted to wear that ghagra. You'll see that ghagra in my Instagram pictures, and so I went bald for the show, and my life changed again because I stopped getting work.
Right.
When you go bald, you don't get work. So I went to Pune and I did this photo shoot with this photographer in Pune, Abhinav Kapare. So I did a photo shoot with him, and it was just a photo shoot. And so uske baad then things changed. I participated in other fashion shows to show people that I'm still here and I can still rule the world and I'm still the queen. Around 2019, Feb or March, March, I was offered a campaign by Times of India, out and out campaign for them, and I was very skeptical because I used to believe कि अगर मैं किसी को कुछ बोल दूंगी उसके बारे में तो वो कभी होने नहीं वाला है. So मैंने किसी को बताया नहीं था. I got selected and we shot everything. Everything was done. मैं home, सब कुछ हो गया. And then I got to know that my pictures which I shot in that Pune के photoshoot में जो picture click किया था, it went to Cannes. So I was on the face of Lions TV magazine in Cannes. One of my picture which was clicked by the production team was used as a huge hoarding. Huge hoarding near Hajri.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Huge hoarding near Hajri. And I mean, किसने सोचा होगा कि a person like me can be on this hoarding, and even trying जो prime जगह है मुंबई में Hajri की. So it was a big thing.
Absolutely.
And when and my life changed. And then, non-binary person, okay, I used to feel very uncomfortable because I used to have beard. And I was quite open for any pronouns. If you want me to, because I gave option to people, you can address me as he, she, or they, whatever you are comfortable with. Because I don't believe in a particular gender. If you put me in a class, I'll take the shape of class. If you think I'm a woman, I'm a woman. If you think I'm a man, I am a man. But whenever I say this, if you think I'm a man, I am a man. I used to get very uncomfortable. क्योंकि उस टाइम पे I couldn't accept जो मैं थी एक्चुअली बचपन से, वो सेल्फ एक्सेप्टेंस हुआ नहीं था. And 2020 के beginning में a lot of things changed in my life. I was supposed to do a play which didn't happen, and during that time even my family was going through a lot of financial crisis. And that time one of my friend told me कि I will help you, but ऐसा वैसा. So one of my Hijra friend actually helped. And at that time, after staying with them, after learning about their culture, even closely, because I knew what they are, I respected them when I joined. I mean, when I got to meet them, वो डर निकल गया था. But वो बचपन में जो देखा था मैंने, उसका डर था. So when I actually got to see them, when I actually got closer to them, I actually felt this is me, this is who I am. And I've been hiding myself since, I think, even after accepting the जो kind of acceptance था, उसके बावजूद भी I was hiding myself. And then I joined the Hijra community. I became a part of them. And yeah, this is my journey. I'm a transgender person from the Hijra community, open, out, proud.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us. I have
that brief. I'm sorry.
No,
but,
that was lovely. It
touched a lot
great.
of points.
Absolutely. And I want to ask you about a couple of those, if that's okay. From I'm Crush by patriarchy to girl with a beard to now transgender person with a Hijra identity and as a performing artist. I want to ask you, how has acceptance changed for you in your immediate circle, in the family, extended family, with friends? Has it become better, or like you said, you've lost some friends? Are there still some parts of family that you're okay with losing because they won't be changing their mind? How's that been? And I can totally understand this might be troubling to talk about as well. So just feel free, please.
It's
Feel
not at all
comfortable.
troubling to talk about. I'm very straightforward person, very blunt. And in 2015, when I met people like me, that was the time when I decided that I don't want to be with, say, a certain family member or family members just to please my parents. And I was quite open about it. I told them I don't want to meet them. I don't want to go to their functions.
Right.
If you can't respect me, if you can't value me, or if you will judge me because I identify as, a certain individual, I don't want to be with you. So that was very clear. And even now I don't meet my family members. So kabhi kabar agar ghar pe aa gaye to aa gaye, but I don't change for them. This is me.
Sure.
So either you can hate me, you can love me, but you can't ignore me. That's for sure.
Right.
So you have to deal with me the way I have been dealing with you since I was born. And friends की तो बात, thank God lockdown happened. Lockdown में काफी असली चेहरे सामने आ गए. And it was emotionally very good for me. And also physically, because I was very thin and now at least I have gained some weight.
Right.
So that was good. And I'm sorry I missed your last question, which was about what pride means to me. What pride means to me is to be in solidarity with everyone, be it poor people or anyone who has suffered due to the pandemic. I think this is the time when we all have to be together, regardless of whatever differences we have within our community, or even in the mainstream, so-called mainstream community. We have to be together. If we will be together in this journey or in this pandemic, maybe the virus will leave us soon.
Those are absolutely great words. What I wanted to ask you a little bit more about pride was, we take all of these words and languages from the Western experience of gender, or the Western experience of sexuality. What I wanted to, when I said I wanted to know what pride means to you, and you gave me a lovely answer, what I also wanted to get at was, what are our touch points, or what are more local sources of strength, right? Pride, the whole Stonewall riots, the history of it, it's something that's so far beyond and so far long ago that हमारे लिए, or for our society to move forward and for our society to learn, what are those touch points that you look at within the community, or that you have used maybe to educate someone close to you about this?
I believe in one thing: if you don't know about my community, you ask me. And even if I'll teach you about my community, it's your choice if you have to accept it or not. मैं अपना सर दीवार पे नहीं पटक सकती. I can't explain a person who is born homophobic, transphobic.
Right.
I can try my best to get him cured out of his homophobia, as he thinks that I'll get cured of my gender identity. So मैं उसको clearly बताती हूँ कि I am not going to cure myself, because I'm not a बीमारी, I'm not a disease.
Of course.
कोई वैक्सीन लगा के मैं सुधर के नहीं बाहर निकलने वाली हूँ. वैक्सीन तुम्हें लगाना होगा, and that vaccine should be of spreading love, having acceptance towards other people. And so I try my best, but when people don't understand, I don't bang my head on the wall. And apart from that, my poetry which I write, I usually write poetries in the language, in the local languages, like Hindi, Marathi. I have only written Hindi and one in Marathi, and I write these poems because I want, the people who understand English are okay. They know what it is all about.
Right.
But a person who doesn't understand that language,
right,
or who's not that privileged to understand, because when poetry आता है ना, तो people use very बड़ा words. तो क्या होता है ना कि वो बड़े वर्ड्स जिसको समझ में आते हैं उसके लिए काफी अच्छा है, पर जिसको नहीं समझ में आता, that person will not waste his time until he is not that interested to know what it means, to go in a dictionary and check what it means actually. So I write my poetries in local languages. कोई बड़े शब्द I rarely use like big terms.
Mm-hmm.
And I want my poetry to not only to reach the privileged people, but also the person who is sitting in a rural area of Maharashtra and wants to know what the community is all about, or wants guidance, or is searching for a person like them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to write poetry for them
Mm-hmm.
because वहाँ पे awareness है ही नहीं, वहाँ पे acceptance भी नहीं है.
Right.
यहाँ पे हम झगड़ा करके मांग के ले लेते हैं, वहाँ पे तो झगड़ा करने का मौका तक नहीं.
Correct.
So I want to reach out to them. I don't care if they don't reach out to me, but I want to reach out to them. And I care
Sure.
if they like. I would feel really bad if they don't reach out to me or if they don't relate to my poetry, because I write poetry for them. I believe poetry or any visual medium, it influences people's mind. When a particular hero slaps a heroine's butt
Mm-hmm.
or teases her, 10 other people or at least 100 other people in the village will do the same to any other girl.
Absolutely.
So why can't you use that kind of medium to teach people? That I believe in that, and that's how I do my sensitization. I go to colleges, I speak about the community, and the only problem which I see, I mean, which I have noticed or which I've been criticized for by my other friends who go to colleges and sensitize, they say कि तू हर चीज negative ही क्यों बताती है? मैंने बोला because positive बता के क्या फायदा when we have so many negative things? Tell them the reality.
Right.
रियलिटी क्या है वो भी तो बताओ ना. वी आर नॉट अ हैप्पी फैमिली. हम साथ साथ है वाज आल्सो स्क्रिप्टेड. दिस इज नॉट हम साथ साथ है. यहाँ पे हम साथ साथ होकर भी साथ नहीं है.
Right.
So yeah, tell them about that.
It's fantastic.
If they want to know the reality, right? So tell them about that,
Absolutely.
because we have been learning about their lives. We have been, for example, I have been learning about all the heterosexual people's lifestyles.
Mm-hmm.
I've been giving examinations about their lifestyle. So don't give examinations about us. Don't even learn about our lifestyle, but at least know about our lifestyles. Yeah, simple.
It's just fantastic the way you put it. Right? It's so simple and so cut and dry. I have two follow-up questions actually. One is, and again, it's as much an education for me, because while I would consider myself an ally, I wouldn't claim to know enough about your lifestyle or anybody else's for that matter, right? My two follow-up questions to what you just said. Number one is, how did you learn to be articulate about your situation? And I'm sure it was a massive relief to find that you are blessed with words as well as a fierce spirit, but the words that come out and that state your case. How did you learn to be this articulate? What were guidances or reference points or books you read or stuff you saw that left an impression on you in becoming this kind of articulate? That's my first question. I'll come to the second one after.
This would be really, I mean, you would feel really sad to know that I don't read books.
Right.
I don't watch much movies. It's just my
Sure.
feeling. For example, a Marathi poetry which I wrote, Sari,
Mhm.
The inspiration came from, I love this, this poet called Mehak Mirza Prabhu.
Of course.
She did a poetry on Kachi Kairi Ka Char.
Right.
So I just came across it randomly on Facebook and I was like, I mean, कच्ची कैरी के अचार पे कौन क्या लिख पाएगा? Maybe something about अचार experience, how कैसे लगा खा के, and ऐसा मुझे I saw it with some preconceived notions. And when the story completed, I was completely in awe of the poet. I was like, my God, how could she relate कच्ची कैरी का अचार to a woman's life, to a girl's life? And that inspired me. I was like, what I told her, I messaged her and I said, I love this. I want to write something similar, which I relate to, which because you're a woman, you could relate to the process of making achar and process of, make how a mother teaches a daughter to turn into a woman, a very a housewife kind of woman. So I want to write about myself and about people from my community and everything. And she was like, good luck and everything. And I was figuring out what should I use as my object, which I can compare myself to, anything. And my friend told me, you love to wear saris. Write about it. And when जब मुझे साड़ी पहनना नहीं आता था, wearing a sari is a task.
Mhm.
Abhi I am very pro at it. Now I can wear it in like 5 minutes, but उस time पे it was a task. And I related that entire journey of learning how to wear a sari to myself. How this boy or how this person likes to wear sari, and other people ask him, why do you wear
Mm.
saris and how can you drape saris so beautifully? And he tells them everything about that procedure, from putting the first knot to tucking it in the petticoat, and then to take the pleats and then to put the pallu. So it's a beautiful story. I would love if you guys would listen to it. It's in Marathi and you'll also get the subtitles in Hindi and English. So I would love if you would listen to that.
What's the title? What's the title of the story?
Sari.
Just Sari.
Yeah, it's just Sari.
And we can find this
YouTube,
on your Instagram or
on
on
YouTube. I did that poetry with Buddy Bits, and
Right.
so you'll find it on YouTube.
So that we'll be sure to check out Sari by Alizeh on Buddy Bits. And I love Mehak. I mean, her work has a devastating emotional effect. Either it can really make you wonder how she thought of this, or it makes you wonder about just her strength in the way that she comes off. Incidentally, Mehak has been on this podcast as well. I recorded an episode with her a few months ago. Yeah. To my listeners, please go check out The Art of Storytelling. I think that's what the episode is called, with Mehak Mirza Prabhu. Alizeh, my follow-up question to you is really about your performances, and you just set us off on that. There was a time when you performed on stage in different avatars, right? As Swapnil, as a girl with a beard, as Alizeh now. Where does this build up for you? Where do you see your impact in the next few years? Where would you see your name be up at, right? You said you're here to rule the world, and we all are with you when you say you want to be the queen, but what is it that you want to be the queen of, and where do you see it going from here on? What are your ambitions?
I'm a huge Madhuri Dixit fan.
Right.
And I'm not a huge fan of her. I'm her devotee. And I want to create that kind of impact on my audience who will see my work. But unfortunately, I don't get such offers where I can portray my talent or showcase my talent in that way. Because of internal transphobia by the casting directors. I just finished a Marathi film. It is a very small role in that film, but I did that film because it was a very good story, and I was not just comic relief in the film. It's a comedy film, but I was not just a comic relief in the film, and that's the reason I agreed to do that movie.
Right.
Movies or stage performances. See, most of the times when I've been offered scripts for short films or etc., I don't do it. Because when people think they have to make movies, see, poetry is just my hobby. I don't take it seriously. I write, I'm a very moody writer. मुझे आज मन हुआ मैं अभी लिखूंगी, मुझे कल मन हुआ मैं कल लिखूंगी, या फिर मैं 4 साल बाद लिखूंगी. That happens to me. But with acting, it's very different. It's not only about changing in a different person, but also about living a different life and expressing their problems. Unfortunately, in India, whenever you see LGBT, if a person, like I said, a rural person sitting who doesn't have an access to Netflix or say any other digital platform where we stream and watch shows, if that person only has access to YouTube.
Right.
If he goes to YouTube and if he puts up Indian LGBTQ movies, or for example Indian gay movies, what will he see? He'll just see soft porn.
Yeah.
And that's
pretty much.
And see, sex is a necessity. It is a part of our life. But it is not the only part of our lives. We are much more than sex.
Right.
And people who have privilege, they're just creating soft porn. Why can't you write good scripts? Why can't we get good scripts?
Right.
Our scripts, if they come to me with a script, it's mostly about craving for acceptance. And I say them clearly, why should we crave for acceptance? It is 2020 enough. Accept or don't accept. I don't give a damn about you.
Right.
We are not asking it as a bheek. We don't need meherbani. We don't want, your trendy friend. Oh, I accept my gay friend. Oh, accepting queer people is a trend, so I'll accept them. Don't accept us because it's a trend. And even we don't want movies on acceptance. Enough done, enough said about acceptance. Stop cribbing about it. Grow up. Everyone, you can't please everyone. Everyone can't accept you because of their rigid mentality. Live your life.
Fantastic.
Do you think if you people have any stray or any poor friends, do you think their life is all about acceptance? It's much more than that.
Absolutely. No,
It's much more than that.
Yeah.
It's much more about their relationships with their parents. It's much more about their relationship with the society in general, with their work, with their interpersonal relationships. And now it is a boon for filmmakers to make movies about the pandemic. How trans community has suffered due to the pandemic, specifically the Hijra community, how they have suffered, and I don't see any such steps coming my way.
Right.
And now, even when I've been casted, I see a lot of directors not putting it, straight to me. They'll be like, we want someone who looks very, very fem trans person, feminine दिखनी चाहिए. अरे, she's a trans person. She can only look feminine if she is blessed by God or she's blessed by her doctor.
Right.
Okay. A person like me who doesn't have that kind of privilege, we will look like this.
Right.
And it's not about it's not ki I'm complaining ki why she looks so beautiful, and I look beautiful in my own way, but I'm the raw person. You need to see the real faces around the world.
Right.
Every trans person is not like upright, aise baal uda ke, and then she comes itne straight baal. Everyone is not that privileged. Take real people. That makes more sense. That has a relatability with that person. We kind of relate to that person. And that is the huge problem which I face with the casting directors. When they specifically cast for trans characters, they want someone who look feminine. And I don't think so. Most every trans person, they don't look feminine, So, have some sense before casting.
Do you think that's a kind of a problem that it's like the Western beauty standards getting put all over?
It is a huge.
Yeah, it's kind of normalizing that standard, right?
They know if they'll bring a Hijra who's begging on road, or for example, if you see me, if they bring me on screen, they know people would accept me as a transgender, पर उनको वो beauty चाहिए. They want someone who looks beautiful, थोड़ी glamorous. Glamorous is okay, but think about people who don't have that kind of privilege, but still they are talented.
Listen, I need to take a quick break or my producer will kill me. But fascinating conversation. I'm going to come back right after this break and ask you a couple more questions. Back on Storytellers and Storysellers with Alizeh Khan right after these messages.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'd like to thank the sponsors on the network this week, Cred and Sia. Thank you so much for making this possible. We've had an amazing week on the network. Do check out The Note with Mahrukh Inayat. She speaks to Prabhat Kumar, the man leading child protection at one of India's leading NGOs, Save the Children. On The Habit Coach, Ashton was joined by Rajat Mittal Shah to talk about some superfoods in Ayurveda like turmeric and ashwagandha. On Paisa Vaisa, host Anupam Gupta has a digital gold special in two parts, one with Ashraf Rizvi, founder and CEO of Digital Swiss Code, and Gilded, and one with Deepak Abbott, co-founder of India Gold. Listen to the first part of the Father's Day special of Agla Station Adulthood with Natasha and her father, Dr. Vipul Roy Rathod. You should also check out Cyrus Says' episode with Mukul Chadda. He talks about upcoming shows Sunflower and Sherni. Our Kannada podcast, Thale Artist, celebrates 100 episodes, and we had a reunion of hosts Pawan, Ganesh, and Surya who shared their favorite moments from the past. Shiva Mehta is back with the second season of Smile India. The show is available in both English and Hindi. On this episode, she talks about the conversion from bag teas to bagless ones and how we should ditch the plastic and have a great tea experience. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
Now we're back on Storytellers and Storysellers. We're talking about representation for trans roles in entertainment with Alizeh Khan, among a host of other very interesting points of view. Alizeh, just before the break, we were talking about how beauty standards or feminine beauty standards don't just impact representation of women, but they're also impacting how trans people are represented or Hijras are represented on screen or in movies, right? What's an example of a role that you think did justice to it, right? And again, we know that repeated depictions of trans people as violent or offenders or as villains are very tropey, right? And they're very outdated, but we still have them coming about. But are there roles or are there depictions that you have seen that made you think, hey, that's actually treating this character as a human being and not just as a sort of craving for acceptance kind of trope, right? Any characters or any depictions that come to mind?
Unfortunately, the actor passed away a few days ago. I saw this beautiful Kannada film.
Mm-hmm.
It had the character was played by a cisgender man.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the first time when I saw the film and I didn't find it offensive. I didn't find that person, the actor, is trying to mimic us or trying to stereotype us. In fact, I actually thought that he's a transgender. I mean, I actually thought that, they are transgender while seeing that film. And I was quite amazed to check the
Can you
bio.
Tell us the name of the film?
Yeah, I'll share that with you. So when I actually saw the entire Wikipedia page, I got to know that it was played by a cisgender man, and that the name of the film is it's a Kannada film. It is called Nan Avanalla Avalu, which is I'm not a he, I'm she.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Kannada film. It talks about acceptance, but from a very different perspective.
Right.
It shows the Hijra culture. It shows the reality of the Hijra culture, how they are oppressed, how they are treated in the society, how they want to work, but they don't have opportunities, how they are discriminated at workplace, in the society, by police, by everyone, by society in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that film really good. I mean, at least that's my opinion. I find it really nice. And that was the first time when I didn't mind a cisgender person playing a trans role, whereas I actually don't think it's right.
Mm-hmm.
The only problematic thing in that film was a cisgender playing a trans role.
Right.
But they did so nicely that I actually didn't feel that he's a cisgender person.
Right.
And apart from that, if you ask me another show.
No, hold on. Give me the name of that movie again.
Nan Avanalla Avalu.
Nan Avanalla Avalu. That's a Kannada film. Next one, please.
And the next one is Pose. Pose on Netflix.
Right, of course.
Mostly the lead actors are transgenders and people of color. And I love that show.
Right.
I love that show. I don't know why season 3 ke baad season 4 bhi aana chahiye tha, but it's okay. But amazing. Pose is amazing. If Pose is made in India, I would give anything to work in that series.
Which character would you play?
I relate more to Blanca.
Sure.
I relate more to Blanca. And I would love to play Blanca and even Angel for that matter.
Right.
Yeah.
I would go for Angel. Maybe I slotted you for maybe the Angel character, but yeah. Blanca or Angel, I can see both.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with anything, but to just be part of that narrative, it's amazing.
Right.
Pose with an Indian perspective would be, oh my God, would be amazing. Would be amazing.
Right.
Would be amazing. Because, if you see drag culture, it is similar to the Hijra culture. Mm-hmm. Not like exact, like pura ditto,
right.
But it is quite similar. They clap and they're happy.
Right.
Even we are happy and we express our emotions, through clapping.
Right.
So it's not like if you clap, then you have some kind of bad effect on your life. Nothing happens.
Right.
It's just the way we express ourselves.
Sure.
The way you express yourself with all the misogynistic slangs you choose. So this is a better
direct.
way. We clap.
Yes.
And we show you that, you are full of filth.
Right.
Apart from that, so Hijra committee is structured, right? A godmother, then godmother, then, granddaughter. It's a family system.
Right.
And drag culture is also the same.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have seen drag queens or upcoming drag queens in my own city in Mumbai, and I see them, making a face when a Hijra person walks. They'll be friends with them, but they would not accept them. Mm-hmm. Completely. They would not. Mm-hmm. So they make faces, or they have certain kind of apprehension to talk to that person. Mm-hmm. And then they'll be like, oh, I mean, no, we dance here, and no, this is not cool. No, this clapping is always not good. And I'm like, dude, the only difference between you and me is, or you drag people and the Hijra community, is you dance in bar and we dance on the road. Mm-hmm. But entertainment and talent is same.
Right.
Maybe talent is much better here because, so it's kind of similar. We have to be fine. We are in a very strict kind of family, structure. वहाँ पे strict नहीं है. वहाँ पे sometimes the house mother only flips from one house to another. यहाँ पे this can't happen.
Right.
It's very strict.
Right.
That's what.
Wow, man. I mean,
think.
it's very interesting parallels that you drew between drag culture and Hijra culture. You've got me interested in knowing more of the principles or the rules that exist in this community. I can only imagine that it's a very tightly knit community, right? It's something that holds its people near and dear.
Very close.
Yeah, and holds its people near and dear. I'm sure for acceptance, for safety, for so many reasons, right? What are?
But you also have to understand that Hijras are, even if they are considered to be demigods, at the end of the day they are humans.
Right.
जैसे एक कलाई पे 5 उंगली एक तरीके की नहीं होते हैं, वैसे एक ही कम्युनिटी पे हिजड़े सेम नहीं होते.
Right.
I am very against people who are aggressive, who speak really bad to people.
Mm-hmm.
If they have no option and if they do it, then I understand why you are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just doing it because, for whatever reason, then I don't support that. And I don't tolerate violence in any form.
Right.
I don't, if you want to be accepted or if you want to feel welcome in the society, you have to be in the society to create that change.
Right.
Thoda sa be in the society. I know it will take a lot of time, but you'll have to thoda sa unko bhi adjust karna padega, thoda sa humko bhi adjust karna padega.
Sure.
The people who are aggressive, because I've seen a lot of men complaining when I go to sensitization, they used to tell me, we are scared of gay men because they touch us in the local trains, because they touch us inappropriately. Whenever you find someone doing that, please go and report them to police.
Right.
Please go and do that. Don't complain if you enjoy it, and then enjoy karke fir tum complain karoge, so that doesn't make it.
Right.
And if any trans person does something wrong to you, police is there. Go and lodge an FIR. If they are wrong, they should be punished. And if you are wrong, even you should be punished. You should be equal for everyone.
Right.
That is the same way everywhere. We all are humans at the end of the day. We all are not same.
Absolutely.
Saying something. Sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all. I want to just, in a way, to wrap this up, I want to ask you about the condition of the Hijra community, right? And according to you, what can government or society do better? What are some immediate things that we could do better, and what are things that you hope will eventually improve?
During the pandemic, most of the transgenders from the Hijra community have helped each other.
Right.
They have contacts, and through that contacts, luckily, a lot of good-hearted people have donated some kind of amount to them, so that they can donate ration kits and everything, etc., to people within the community. There was this vaccination drive, which was yesterday or day before yesterday at SL Raheja Hospital. So things are changing. I don't see government changing anything for us.
Right.
And let's not go to government.
Right.
Because they're more interested in temples than saving people's life and getting them vaccinated. So let's not even go there. And that's it. We have, the Hijra community has helped a lot of people during the pandemic. Even if these people who suffered most because of the pandemic, shops were closed. People who don't have education, they couldn't go to they couldn't go to earn their livelihood through begging. Because shops were closed, businesses were shut, and people had very less income. Even if there is any child who is born in someone's house, Hijras couldn't go for the traditional blessing ceremony.
Right.
And because there was obviously no income in the mainstream society, transgender people who were into sex work, they don't have clients anymore.
Right.
So it has affected us in a very bad way, but fortunately we have some people who have helped us during that situation. From the trans community, apart from other people who are great allies, who are ally in real sense, and they are just not ally. The fake ally nahi hai. So they help us a lot. So yeah, and talking about the performing space or the entertainment space for transgenders, a lot has to change. A lot has to change. We are still struggling to see amazing women-driven performances or women-driven movies in India.
Right.
Trans women have to suffer a lot. The story, unka to abhi chalu hua hai, and what they have been offered is nothing. Can we see pose in India? And when that day will come, I will think that it's changed.
Mhm.
When people would be cast regardless of their looks or their color or their race or the community which they belong to,
Right.
or the class they belong to, or the caste they belong to. And if they will be cast in the series, the Indian post series, which I assume should happen, or which I wish should happen, then I'll think I'll change it. We need to tell our stories. We can't have other people telling us stories.
And
So,
I hope it is you or someone like you who is telling those stories, because we
hopefully.
definitely need those to come through.
See, even if God ever grants me a wish, I would tell him, give me ample amount of money. Kabhi tichori khali nahi honi chahiye.
Right.
Because I want to open a production house. I don't want to depend on someone else to produce a movie for me.
Mhm.
I want to do everything on my own.
Mhm.
I'll produce films which will talk about us, which will show our lives, in the show our real lives. And not a person मतलब 20 साल से यही चल रहा है about the Hijra image. If it's a good
Right.
film, that's what they think. A mirror and a boy putting a lipstick and wearing a sari. Enough.
Right.
And if otherwise kuch hoga, all thanks to Bollywood, we will have people like Mr. Ashutosh Rana, who did a film called Sangharsh, where he scared the shit out of people and he presented the community in such a bad way.
Mhm.
And then he also had balls to do a film called Shabnam Mosi, where he was playing the lead character. And that was a good film. But again, you stole तुमने एक बड़ा सा रोल ले लिया from a transgender.
Absolutely.
And Bollywood is all about business. They don't make movies out of emotions.
Of course.
They don't want to influence. They want to make money.
They want to monetize.
So yeah, so जो पैसा box office को लाएगा, तो वो उसी को लेंगे. So it's better leave Bollywood, write your own stories, make your own movies. That's what I would like to say at the end of it.
Fantastic. And I love the clarity with which you've said it, right? You're like, I'm not going to sit here and hope that things change.
We
need to do it ourselves, and we'll do it ourselves.
Because I can't expect a person like Akshay Kumar doing a film called Lakshmi Bomb, and people knew that Kanchana was a transphobic film. It was a misogynistic film.
Right.
And then you make a film called Lakshmi Bomb, and then you think it's going to change. What has it changed? Whenever I see the promo on Star Gold, I laugh looking at Akshay. I'm like, what is this? What is this caricature? I've never seen a Hijra person lifting up her sari without wearing a petticoat, lifting up her sari, still her upper thighs, and running on the streets. No one does that.
Right.
No one does that. It's really. And that movie is talking about अभी तो हम आधार कार्ड पे भी आगे, अरे आधार कार्ड पे 2014 पे आ गए मैम, और बहुत सारे इश्यूज है जो उस मूवी में आपको बोलना चाहिए था कि आधार कार्ड पे आगे आपके घर में कब नहीं आएंगे, आपके ऑफिस में कब आएंगे काम करने को. That would make more sense. If you don't give us house, we will find a house for ourselves. But if you want us to get rid of begging in trains, begging on streets, doing sex work on the streets, see, sex work is a choice of people. So I would not say anything on that, but mostly begging,
right,
for which we are blamed.
Right.
So give us jobs.
Absolutely.
And we don't want jobs. I've also written a poetry on that, which is called Mauka Dekh To Dekho, again with Buddy Bits. You'll find that on YouTube, which clearly says that we don't want to sit in the AC cabins.
Mm-hmm.
Even, I know we are going to end this session, but this is very important to talk about.
Absolutely.
People, when they have this Pride Month and everything, they create all such wonderful slogans, wonderful logos, and they want trans people or gay men or anyone from the LGBTQI community to come on their show and talk blah, 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 good things about their life, bad things about
mm-hmm.
But what is going to change? My story, people are going to listen to my story. But is there something going to change in a transgender's life who's listening to my story? Nothing will change. People who are listening to me, who think they are allies or who are allies in their own way, keep them as maids in your house. We don't want to sit in a AC cabin. मुगल हम पे विश्वास करते थे कि हम लोगों को उनकी हरम दे दी थी for security. Use us in security. People are not that educated in the trans community to sit in a cabin.
Mm-hmm.
If they are educated, give them that kind of skill so they can sit in an AC cabin and do their job. And if they are not, then don't just throw them out of your office.
Mm-hmm.
Make them security guards in mall. Make them security guards in your office. When women go alone in the night from the night shift, make them the security guard in that car.
Right.
People would not even think to touch that woman. because there's a trans person sitting inside.
Right.
And they know how bad it can be.
Right.
So yeah, do that kind. I mean, you can do a lot, but you don't want to do inclusion ke naam pe. You take 5 trans people, you select one, you give them the job, and then inclusion ke naam pe, after 1 month, you get to know the real problems. And then you think, okay, this is going to be for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then we'll have that ki हाँ हमने एक transgender को job दिला दिया, and now she's not working with us. तुम्हारा motto वही है. You have to show off. Don't do it because you have to show off. Do it because you really feel everyone has rights and everyone has equal rights to work.
Mm-hmm.
That is important.
No, absolutely. I'm so glad you brought this up, because when I asked you about what pride means to you, this is where I was coming from. That, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I struggled with how should we program this episode, because I didn't want it to be, oh, hey, it's Pride Month, so let's do this episode, and then we've got it out of the calendar. And I didn't want it to be about how, oh, you are everything because my parents made me this way or someone else made me this way. I wanted to talk to someone who had a big point of view, who had a point of view and wasn't afraid of saying it the way it is. And it's been educational for me. But I think at long last, you finally said what really needs to be said, which is, in the name of making space for representation, what tends to happen is we forget normalization, right? You don't want to be the one trans person in an office of 200 people, because at the end of the day, there's no assimilation happening there. There is no normalization happening there, right? Opportunities for more trans people are not becoming available if you're going to hold it at, oh, this is now a one person there for a diversity quota sort of a system. So fully hear you on how it needs to get more normalized, and jobs, I think, most importantly,
Vineet,
for sure.
They have openings.
Right.
But just take, for example, Alizeh Khan, a transgender person who left her house at age of 5, who is not that educated, who is just a 10th pass or 5th pass or 8th pass or 4th pass person, who begs on street. And half of my community is illiterate. I mean, they are uneducated. They are not that literate. Most of the people have not even cleared their SSC examination, state examination, 10th level examination. And you can't expect if 2 people, like for example, say again Alizeh Khan, who is privileged, who has done her degree, who has that certificate, who is a graduate, she can get a job because she's privileged. I want to see that happen to every transgender who begs on street. Security guard banao, cleaner bana lo, pipe karne ke liye laga lo, kuch bhi do, give us jobs.
Absolutely. I think,
and even people should stop misgendering. I mean, even I do on this show, and because we are so used to calling each other man, bro, and everything.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's completely on me. I moment it went out, I said it. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. But we have to change that behavior. We
absolutely.
Calling guys, hey guys, what's up? And we should start using more gender neutral terms, which is like, hey people, what's up? Hey folks, what's up?
Right.
And that's so cool. I don't know why people bro, I mean, kya soch ke bro bolte hain, mujhe lagta nahi hai. I mean, I know my features are quite masculine, but my heart is still feminine. So I don't think so that you should call me bro, because if you will bro zone me, then I can maybe put you in my hate list. Or maybe in the block list. That sounds good.
No, it does not.
Not for you, but in general. I mean, we should change that. We should stop we should stop using that kind of terms, those kind of terms, because see, I know where it comes from, because I have been through this time. I know people use it very rarely. ये भाई भाई बुलाना is okay. I understand. ये कोई लोग है ना बुरे intention से नहीं बोलते. It's just a way of speaking. But अगर आज, if we will change that, then people will also change. Things will change slowly. So first, if Vineet will learn, then Vineet can go and preach this to 10 other people.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Vineet, you have to learn something.
I am on it, and I try. I mean, honestly, as someone who is also learning, right? And I've had various lessons at different times in my life that help you with this, right? And you learn. Everyone's a 16-year-old boy.
Learn when you commit a mistake, you learn.
Absolutely, right? And that's how you do it. And I think I would end the episode by saying 2 things, right? One is that it's important, even when you consider yourself an ally, and that this is something that I've learned, to still be open about the fact that you can be an ally and still be wrong. Right? And at that point, it can't be to my ego that, hey, look, I am here to be your ally. How can you say I am wrong? Because that's not true allyship in that sense, right? The true allyship should remain in making the space and learning with it, right? Like you said, an ally is also like the glass around the water. That whole thing sort of fits, right? The ally has to fit the community, not the other way around. And it's been very educational. It's difficult, but it can't be more difficult than the experience itself. So that's what us allies also need to learn and understand and make space for. And I promise I will do better. I promised you on that.
Next time you invite me, I should see that.
Wonderful having you on, Alizeh. It was truly wonderful talking to you. Thank you for sharing your story with us. I think what I've learned out of this is that pride can mean many things to many people. And today I learned that you're out there reclaiming the Hijra identity within the transgender community. I hope you are successful in your goal to do that, as well as your entertainment goal to start your own production house, ताकि तिजोरी हरदम पूरी भरी रहे और किसी और से पैसा ना लेना पड़े to make your own movies. All the best, Alizeh. Thank you so much and happy Pride to you.
Thank you so much, Vineet, and I'm glad to be part of this conversation. It was amazing.
Wonderful. That's it from me, Vineet Kanabar, on Storytellers and Storysellers. This is me saying goodbye.
Feeling overwhelmed, anxious, struggling with too many obstacles, don't know where your life is headed? Well, if you are dealing with one or all of these, tune into the Positively Unlimited podcast, because in each episode, I share a life lesson, a life hack, a pro tip that can help you get your life back on track. All episodes are available on the IVM website, IVM Podcast app, or wherever it is that you get your podcast from.
पेशे खिदमत है आपकी शान में हमारे अंजुमन से. Hi, I am Sadaf.
And I'm Arshit. खाने का इतिहास, economics, policy, psychology, सब है मेन्यू पे.
Only on the Nankali podcast every Wednesday, सिर्फ IVM Podcast app या वेबसाइट पर, या फिर जहां से भी आप अपने पॉडकास्ट सुनते हो.